Hi guys, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about something that's not garage related, but again, I talk about things I'm interested in. So it's not always the garage, it's not always cars, not always detailing, but it is kind of related to all of those things. So this is made by UWANT, U-W-A-N-T. It is the D600 is the model number, and it is a powered mop. So you see it's got a kind of a roller on the bottom that's like it's almost like a paint roller. And it's designed to be a mop that is self-cleaning as you're using it and allows you to mop your floor really efficiently. And honestly, they reached out to me to ask if I was interested in testing it. So full disclosure, this was sent to me to review, and I didn't pay anything for it. They're somewhere between $150 and $300 depending on the model and the features and all of the things that you choose. I'll put a link down below in the description. So this is how the device comes. It is there's a removable handle. So the handle comes disassembled from it inside the box, but otherwise it's fully assembled. Looks like that. There is controls right here on the top to turn the thing on and off. This handle can flip depending on how you want to hold it. And then on the back, there is a reservoir. So this has both dirty and clean water. So as you can see, this side is clean water, this side is dirty water, and there's a little bit of mud and crap in there. So we'll clean this out before we get started, just so that we can get an accurate depiction of how this works. So comes with the mop, comes with a spare brush head. And then it also comes with, there's an air filter in the top here, so it comes with a spare one of those. And then there's a deodorizer stick that's down here in the water reservoir. So consumables, there's really only the roller head, that filter, and the stick. Collectively, they're $30, so it's not that expensive to maintain it. And it actually works really well. I was interested in testing it for the garage because I mop this floor pretty regularly. And I use it in the house, in the kitchen, and in the entryway and stuff. And I have an Oofy vacuum that does that every day, and it's got mop heads on it, but the mop heads aren't really like self-cleaning. So it goes to the base, it picks up some water, it goes and does its thing. And I was surprised at the amounts that this picked up that had left behind. We'll just say that. This works really well. So it does come with this drying base. It's just a docking drying base. And this has a light in the back of it. Well, it has actually 4 lights. So there's green, blue, purple, and red, and they all mean different things. When you put the vacuum in, this is all smart, you don't have to do anything, but it immediately turns green to signify that it's going to start cleaning. Then it goes blue, it does a deep cleaning, which involves water. So it actually washes the brushes and cleans everything up and sucks all of the crap into the reservoir. And then it goes purple and does a sanitization with UV light, and then it goes red and dries. So when you pick this up and you take it out, it's actually dry. And this is the charging dock too. So I mean, really all you do is when you're done using it, you stick it in here, it rolls in. Start charging. It says start charging. Like, it's super easy to do. There's no real alignment. It just guides you right in there. So it works well. Out of the box, it had about 40% battery, so they say fully charge it when you get it. So I did that. I did my kitchen with it. I did my entryway with it, and I wanted to do my garage with it and see how it works. So we'll empty this tank, and then they give you this deep cleaning solution, which works. It smells good. Let's just say that. It smells good. You put about a capful in this entire reservoir. And this reservoir filled, which is, I don't know, it's probably about 1 liter, will do this entire garage. I was able to do my kitchen and my entryway, which is probably around the same size as this, with 1 reservoir. So it lasts quite a while. So let me just clean this out really quick, and then we'll come back and we'll show you how this works. All right, so I just cleaned it out. Cleaning it's really easy. You just pick this up, it comes right out. There's the stick. There's like a kind of a large filter here. There's like large holes, smaller holes, and then the reservoir at the bottom. So what you'll find is like all your dog hair and stuff collects up here, and then down below you'll have a little bit more residue, and then in the bottom you'll have your dirty water, right? So I filled up the clean side with fresh water. We're just gonna put, like I said, like a capful is about what I've been doing, and I found that it works well. It's not soapy, and you know, a cap on one of these is usually about an ounce. That's a 500 ml bottle. Snaps into place like that. And this smells like a laundry scent. And like I said, it comes with an extra roller. So that's right here. That's what it looks like. It's hollow on one end. It's got this connector on the other. Gives you this cleaning brush as well. So let's try it. In this garage, I've had a variety of things. Sometimes I have oil messes. Sometimes I have just general dirt. When it rains, I usually end up with like dirty tire tread marks, especially like when I'm cleaning the cars. I often rinseless wash Jessica's car in here. So, and then I get a lot of like dust and stuff. There's a racetrack right over there, and the garage doors aren't fully sealed. They're opened a lot of the day, so I end up with a lot of dust, just like you can see all over the cars. So I usually, let's say like once a month, I end up coming out here and mopping this. And I was doing it with a bucket. You know, I have one of those spinner buckets where you like hit the foot lever and it spins and cleans it out. And that works fine, but you kind of have to go back and forth to the bucket a lot. And I thought this was actually a lot nicer. So anyway, I made a tire tread mess here just to kind of show you what is pretty typical. So it's got a couple modes on it. There's smart mode, max mode, and dry mode. Smart mode, it's going to adjust the output based on what it thinks it needs. Max is just ramped up, fully on. And dry means that it's not really putting water out. It's just trying to pick up like a dry mess. So it is still a vacuum, but it's just different where it doesn't have a beater bar. It instead has this roller. If it has low water, there'll be a light that comes on here. And if the waste tank is full, there'll be a light that comes on there. There's a volume control here. You could adjust the amount of water output. This is the middle setting, which is like normal water. There's a max water and a minimum water. So you can see like kind of the wet on the tiles. So we can go over some of this. And you can see it picks everything up pretty easily. Over here I've got a little bit bigger debris, so we'll see how this does. Just like even some, yeah, actually that worked really well. There's some like mulch in there. So that's pretty normal for me when I'm having to clean this garage, is to have something like a dirty tire tread that goes from the door all the way in. Because it'll rain and, you know, Jessica comes home and parks her car and there's like a, you know, a dirty spot where the tire was, or I washed her car. There's a dirty spot where the tire was. It's pretty normal for me. Now, one thing that I think is cool is this is supposed to lay flat. So we're gonna test that out here. So I always have to pull this car out, or whatever's parked in the middle, in order to mop this. So it can lay flat. You can see here, I don't know the exact height, looks to be maybe 3-4 inches. And I can go all the way under the car, all the way to the middle. And this Mini isn't super low, but it's not really high either. So obviously like under an SUV or whatever, you'd be fine. I don't think it's gonna fit under the Porsche. But so that works well. And Like I said, it puts down a reasonable amount of water. So it's not a super wet floor. Like I'm out here in my socks right now, but the parts where I started over here where the dirt was are already pretty dry. So I'm gonna adjust the camera here, finish mopping the rest of the floor. Now, the one that I have here, this is the D600, it's the model number. It is heated, so the water that comes out is actually warm, which I appreciate. I don't know that you necessarily need that. Obviously, you could just fill the reservoir up with warm water, but they have a model that does heating, and that's what they sent me, so it does seem to do a really good job of cleaning. And like I said, not soaking the floor, which is kind of nice. It does better than my robot vacuum for sure. So obviously I have Swiss tracks here. I'm not trying to start any sort of debate about Swiss tracks versus epoxy. I've gone over that at nauseum. I did epoxy first. I did epoxy twice, and then eventually did Swiss tracks over the failed epoxy. I think you could easily use this on an epoxy floor, a polyaspartic floor, polished concrete floor. I don't think that it needs to be Swiss tracks. It would work fine on all of those. Obviously, if the floor is rough, you're probably going to beat up that brush a little bit faster and maybe need to replace it a little bit sooner. Honestly, I find it works well. And you know, like I said, like once a month on Saturday, I'll come out here first thing in the morning and I'll, you know, play some music, clean the actual garage itself, the floor, and put away all the stuff that I have on all the shelves and get my boxes ready for shipping, you know, that kind of stuff, and just feel like I'm working in a clean room. So, So I think you could see the green light here. Like I said, it goes through a couple stages. It'll go green, then blue, then purple, then red. And it does that all intelligently. So the green is to get off all of the heavy stuff. And then blue is like a deep cleaning where it actually is like using water. You can actually see some suds here, right here on the side. And then it cleans the roller. You pull it out and there's a whole bunch of crap in here and that's clean. Actually works really well. So all this crap that it's spitting in there right now as it cleans out the roller. So there's like a bunch of dog hair and stuff in here. And then there's a bunch of dirty water down there. I'm gonna let it clean itself out. We'll come back and I'll show you what it actually picked up in the canister. We'll empty it out. And yeah, I was at 81% battery when I docked it. And I did half of my 3-car garage, a little bit more than half of my 3-car garage, because this side is actually deeper than that side. So, you know, I'd probably be at like 70%, give or take, maybe 65% battery after doing this garage, which is like 30 by 30. Well, it's 30 feet deep here, it's 30 feet wide, but it's odd. So it's probably, I don't know, 750 square feet, give or take. And the reservoir is like half empty. So the one thing I will say is you can't dock it with an empty reservoir and expect it to clean, because it uses the water in the reservoir to actually do the cleaning. The base station doesn't have any sort of like reservoir or anything like that. The cleaning cycle takes maybe an hour or two. So I'll let it run through and I'll come back. Also, if you dock it with an empty battery, it charges to like 15% before it starts the cleaning cycle, because it actually consumes battery while it's doing it. I docked it at 81, it's at 79 right now. See a switch to blue now? I just want to show you a rinse where it, like, look at all the crap that's in here though. There's actually quite a bit. There, now it's infrared. See it switch to purple. So the infrared is like a sanitization step. That's at 100% now. So the drying cycle, like I said, it's purple, then it's red, right? So the purple is the sanitization process. So it's spinning slightly and then sitting there and then spinning and then sitting there. And then it goes to red, which is just drying. So the battery's at 100% at this point. It's fully charged. Everything's good. I can show you what it's like to clean this. So like in here, there's a filter. There's a bunch of crap in here. So this is really like where the suction happens, right? It sucks through the top of this canister. So there's some hard stuff there, which you can just rinse all of this out. So it's not a big deal, but I wanted to show you what it actually caught so you can get an idea of how it works. So here is the hard stuff, I guess. You can see there's it's like mud and dirt and some leaves. So this is all stuff that it sucked up. And like I said, this is a vacuum too, so it's actually picking stuff up that's below my tiles. And then there's just some mud in the bottom, some sticks, you know, all this dog hair and crap. And then there's dirty water. So this is what the dirty water looks like. And yeah, so quite a bit of stuff out of a seemingly clean floor. So obviously it's pretty effective. So I don't know that you need to like clean this out every single time you use it, but there's a reality where you just stick it in the sink, clean it up, and it's good to go. It's pretty easy to do. So, but yeah, there's the pile of crap that came off of my floor. You can see. So anyway, it works well. I like the thing a lot. You know, I've talked a little bit about my Oofy. I had an Oofy that I really liked, which is a robot vacuum. I liked it quite a bit. I went to one of the ones that did mopping as well because my Oofy broke after several years and I couldn't buy parts for it anymore. So I went to one of the ones that did mopping thinking that it was going to be great, and it just isn't. This does a far better job. I've got 2 dogs, kids, you know, all kinds of stuff going on inside the house, and it took what I thought was a clean floor and made it clean and picked up quite a bit of stuff. So there are other companies that make these. You know, I don't know that UWANT is better or worse than Hoover or, you know, some other brands that are out there. I think at this point, pretty much everything in this consumer electronics space is made in China. And, you know, it seems well built. It came well boxed. It's got reasonable accessories. You know, consumables are available from their site. You can buy it from their site or buy it from Amazon. So I'll put a link down below. But seems really cool. I like it quite a bit. So, and I've been using it now for a couple weeks, and it's done a good job. So that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.